join me? Oh, it's plenty loud, isn't it? Let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Wilma. Happy birthday to you. Yes, yes, yes. All righty. This would be Wilma's 105th birthday. And I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Becky Stone. I'm your MC for the evening, and the Wilma Dykeman Legacy is your host. And we're here to celebrate Wilma and her work as it continues today. The forest was burning. Every living creature was running, flying, leaping, getting away, trying to save their very lives. And when they got to a place where they could stand and not feel the flames singeing their bodies, and they could look and not feel the smoke getting into their eyes, they watched as their homes were being destroyed. Suddenly, there was movement. They all turned to look. It was Hummingbird, fluttering its wings the way they do, and it was darting back and forth over to a pool of water and then back to the edge of the flames, and back again, and then back to the flames. And all of those other animals, elephant, hyena, wildebeest, ibis, all of them realized Hummingbird was fighting the fire. "Oh, Hummingbird," they said, "oh, what are you doing? Do you think you can stop this? You're far too little. Why do you even bother?" And immediately, Hummingbird answered, "I'm doing the best I can." This is a story that is told by Dr. Wangari Maathai, who in 2004 won a Nobel Peace Prize for the work she was doing in her homeland of Kenya. She wanted to protect and save their land resources and build the economy of the people in Kenya. And she started with the village women and with the entry point of trees. And since she started her project, over 51 million trees have been planted, and over quite a feat, but it was not just Dr. Maathai, it was all of the women and the young people of Kenya in the villages. And 30,000 women had been trained in forestry and beekeeping and food production, things that they could earn money from. And what Dr. Maathai says, "I just did not want to be like the other animals who were standing and watching. I wanted to be Hummingbird and do the best that I could." And it's a good model for all of us, which has been modeled for many, many years by our beloved Wilma Dykeman in this beloved region. It brings out the best in us, this region. And now I want to bring on someone else who's been working on bringing out the best in this region. I'm going to let you hear from Jim Stokely, her son, and co-founder with his wife, Ann Callison Stokely, of the Wilma Dykeman Legacy. just to share a few words with us. Thank you, Jim.
Whoa, can you hear me? Well, that's your first mistake. So thanks, Becky. As Becky said, I am Jim Stokely, and my claim to fame is I'm the husband to someone I want to recognize right off the bat. She's my partner in life and at the Wilma Dykeman Legacy. Her name is Ann Callison Stokely. Where is Ann Callison Stokely? Stand up. Where's Ann? There she is. She's way back. She's real close to the entrance. And oftentimes she is an unnamed contributor, and I want her to be named. So I want everybody to say all three names. Ann Callison Stokely. So this first fundraiser that we've ever done is our initial major step toward toward hiring an executive director to ensure the sustainability of the Wilma Dykeman Legacy. It's been going since its founding in 2012 at a modest level. We want to change that into a larger level. I used to think in the years since the founding that the Wilma Dykeman Legacy was kind of a rather mild, kind of white bread cultural institution. You know, we don't do direct action. We don't actually help people. We just do culture. And I was a little bit meek about that. But how would you characterize our current environment? I would characterize our current environment as toxic in many ways. Trees, people, anxiety, mental health, physical health, inequality, you name it. But we, with our 11-word mission statement, clarify and promote environmental and social justice through the written and spoken word. We are doubling down now on what we do, just like Wilma would have doubled down. We are protected by the First Amendment for the foreseeable future, I think. We are going to assume that we're protected by the First Amendment, and we're going to continue to speak the truth locally as well as globally, and we're going to support and publish voices crying out to be heard, as well as neighborhoods and communities that need to be heard. Wilma was all about being heard. Around 1960, our phone was wiretapped. So we had this old black rotary phone, and you could hear when you finished the conversation, you could hear. And then suddenly we heard a voice, a deep voice. Well, that's, and then the call would stop. And my dad got kind of worried about it. He said, well, Wilma, what are we going to do? And here's what Wilma said, to the best of my recollection. She said, if 2 or 3 poor old white men in black suits want to hear us talk about civil rights, that's 2 or 3 more than there used to be. So that's what I call active hope. Active hope is not just kind of closing your eyes and saying, oh, I hope. Things will turn out well, I hope. I hope things will turn out well. It's time to get working. It's time to double down. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. It's what Mother did. And active hope is based upon clarity. That's the first word in our mission statement, to clarify environmental and social injustices in our community. And that means that we try to help people understand the root causes, the effects, the current effects, and the ways forward, the clear paths forward. So that takes a lot of doing. It takes a lot of environmental scanning, takes a lot of competent people working together. Competent people working together. That's what this room is all about. Anyway, so thank you, sponsors. Thank you, audience and friends. And let's go have some fun tonight.
All right, then. We are going to move from story to dance. This region is rich with artists of all shapes, sizes, and arts. And I'm glad to be a part of the performing arts community, and I love dance. So I really wanted us to expand beyond spoken and sung word to using space and expressing through music and movement. So I want to introduce Megan Jones Medford and Nicole Stallings. Megan has developed a dance piece inspired by the music of Nicole Stallings, her accompanist, and this quote from The Tall Woman. There, standing with its hard firmness beneath her feet, her head and face bared to the wind that swept up from the deep valley below and broke in torrents against this ledge, she regained an inner quiet, a stillness she could not name or identify. It was as essential to her existence, however, had been even when she was still a child, as water or food itself. Please welcome Megan and Nicole to the stage. I'm going to move this. Kate, you're on. We've chosen several board members to share things with you tonight. Okay.
I'm very small. Hi, everyone. My name is Kate Bashford Epson, and I have the great honor of serving as the Environmental Integrity Chair of the Wilma Dykeman Legacy. And so how did I find Wilma? Because I'm relatively new to Asheville. I found her through the website, actually, of the Legacy. I had not heard of Wilma, unfortunately for me, up until this time. But I moved here and I was, searching around about my new home, and I came across this incredible woman who really seemed to get all of the important things. She was doing racial justice, social justice, environmental justice through these incredible nonfiction and fiction works. So I felt really excited about that. And then I got to meet her son, Jim, and Anne, and I really knew that I came to the right place. So it was such an honor to be asked to serve on the board and then serve on this position. So I don't think I need to tell a lot of people in this room about what Wilma has done for the environment. Most of you knew her. You know the lands that we're in very well, and you work in this field as well, many of you. And it's incredibly difficult to speak about the environment, I find. It's also my field of work and my day job. And it's so much more compelling usually to live it, to see what we all saw during and after Helene, or be in the forest. And Wilma did it so incredibly well with words in a compelling way, I think, that moved people to action. And that's a very tricky thing to do, because it's one of these issues that's very elusive for a lot of people, even though I think it's very much in our daily lives. So what are we doing at the Legacy in this respect? We have an initiative going on, and I would love a little bit of your help, because what we've done is we're trying to go out into the community and ask people, what does environmental justice mean to them? Or what do they see as environmental injustice happening around them? But tonight I'm going to put a little twist on that and go back exactly to the words that Wilma created around the term environmental integrity. And I know that it's a little bit dull to pull these Webster dictionary terms out, but I really like this one bit about what integrity means. An unimpaired condition, the quality or state of being complete or undivided. I hadn't really thought about it quite like that. So if you could, there are sticky notes, pink and purple ones, on all of your tables, and you all have pens. If you could just write down at some point tonight, and then maybe come stick it on the front of the stage, what environmental integrity means to you, or give an example of it, or on the other hand, an example of a miscarriage of environmental integrity that you have lived, or that you know is happening in our community. And then that will help inform kind of what really rises to the top in our area. So thank you for doing that. And we also have some new programming that's coming up, so be on the lookout for that. We're going to do a book club of sorts, looking at Wilma's writings and taking chapters at a time, and then creating field trips and walking tours, or going to a place that it's centered around and learning more about it while we're there, rather than maybe getting together and drinking wine and talking about the book for 5 minutes and then talking about our lives. So stay tuned for details on that. And then before I go, because we have a really great program, I don't want to take any more time, there are plants at the tables. Those are for you all to take home. There are seed packets. Those are flowers from So True. And there are a lot of books from other fabulous female authors. So please take all of that home as a gift to you all. Thank you so much for coming.
We're going to need to set the stage for our next performer. And I heard her. She also is a storyteller, but she has an acting background as well, so we're kind of sisters in that. At the Weaverville Community Center, Debbie got up there and performed a show that Jim Stokely had developed about Wilma. It was called Wilma Dykeman, mostly in her own words. Debbie brought the full force of not only her storytelling skills, but also her acting skills in a powerful performance of words and actions as Wilma advocated for our rivers, mountains, and our environment. And this evening, you can enjoy a short excerpt. Debbie.
Today is an interesting day. December 31st, 1999, the last day of the millennium. I guess I have a right to reflect on my life a little bit. I've been writing and publishing books for almost 50 years. 3 novels, 3 biographies, 2 histories, 2 collections of essays, a memoir, which I wrote at age 24, a book of poetry, The French Broad. Yes, I said the French Broad. And I'm not referring to a loose woman of European origin. No. This book, published in 1955, described the history and culture of the French Broad River watershed in East Tennessee and western North Carolina. As a late entry in Reinhardt's lauded Rivers of America series, the French Broad was my ticket to big-time publishing. This book has never gone out of print. And I imagine the reason, or a large part of the reason, is because I confronted our shameful pollution of the watershed. While I was doing research for the book, 33 years old, I found myself about to interview one of the most powerful men in western North Carolina, Mr. Reuben B. Robertson, president of the Champion Paper and Fiber Company. I drove over to Canton in Haywood County. Reuben B. Robertson himself ushered me into his office and sat behind the biggest desk I ever saw. I asked him about the French Broad's biggest tributary, the Pigeon River, which his plant turned into black water every day, filled with cancer-causing dioxin and topped off with a meringue slime. He talked, and I listened, and I asked questions, and I took notes. When I was about to leave, he said, "Miss Stokely, just one more thing. Be kind to us. Be kind." Well, that made me mad. And the more I thought about it, the madder I got. I decided to pull no punches. Water is a living thing. It is life itself. In it, life begins. And everything that lives in water requires oxygen. Water can carry off great loads of humanity's leavings, but here the struggle between life and death begins. For water can only carry so much. And as the oxygen is used up by waste, the living creatures in water begin to die. First, of course, go the higher types, until finally, Only the rat-tailed maggots are left. And then nothing. I could have pointed my finger at Champion Paper and Fiber Company and other unenlightened companies. I could have blamed them, and by implication, exonerated us. But that would have been a lie. Why then have we allowed ourselves to suppose the scum on our river inevitable? There is one answer: the apathy of each of us. Our cities and our industries are lagging because we lag. In a democracy, there is no stronger regulator than the will of the people. Simple people, fine people, clean or dirty people, the people. Let the people's will then speak with a law saying this killing of the French Broad must cease. Well, that law turned out to be the Clean Water Act of 1972, passed, by the way, over the veto of President Richard M. Nixon. At one point, I tried to summarize in one sentence what I thought about the connection between land and people, and it seemed to resonate a lot with readers and listeners. This from neither black nor white. As we have misused our richest land, we have misused ourselves. As we have wasted our bountiful water, we have wasted ourselves. As we have diminished the lives of one whole segment of our people, we have diminished ourselves. I wrote that in 1957. Now they've invented a term for it: environmental justice. In the mid-1990s, some of the folks in the French Broad country got a little justice. The citizens of my adopted Tennessee county filed a class action lawsuit against Champion Paper and Fiber. That suit accused the company of dumping cancer-causing dioxins and other pollutants into the Pigeon River, which is the French Broad's largest tributary. My own two sons crossed the Pigeon River every day when they walked to and from Newport Grammar School. The water under their feet was black, foamy, and so smelly that sometimes on the bridge they actually had to pinch their noses. Well, the case was tried in district court in Greenville, Tennessee. Champion's lead defense attorney was Lewis Wolf, a law partner of soon-to-be Senator Howard Baker, and Champion had hired 3 New York high-powered attorneys from the mammoth law firm of Skadden, Arps, Slate, Meager, and Floam. Don't you love it? Those names could come right out of a Charles Dickens novel. Well, I drove over to the Greenville courthouse on a September morning, remembering my interview almost 40 years earlier with Reuben Robertson. I was the first witness called for the prosecution, and in my testimony, I took everyone back to that day in 1954, when I, the budding writer, asked the seasoned executive why Champion did not clean up the Pigeon River. He replied, "We can't justify spending a great deal of money to our stockholders. We will clean it up when we have to." Well, Lewis Wolf, Champion's high-powered attorney, cross-examined me the next day, and he showed me a jar of Pigeon River water taken up near my home in Newport. The water looked pretty clear, but I asked him, "Would you dare drink from it?" Lo and behold, he said he would, but he didn't do it right there in the courtroom. The next day, some 8th graders from Newport met Mr. Wolf outside the Greenville courthouse and offered him another drink of Pigeon River water. Not only did he refuse, but a Knoxville newspaper reporter took Mr. Wolf's photograph with a startled facial expression and his hands half raised to shield him from the drink. Well, that photograph turned into a nightmare for Champion. It distilled the essence of humanity's pitiful power when facing the imperatives of water, our children, and the environment. In the end, Champion settled for $6.5 million. $6.5 million was a pittance, but it was something. The Pigeon River and the French Broad rivers are not as polluted as they were, but they're still polluted. If we care about people, no matter whether they live in Western North Carolina or East Tennessee, we need to care about the water quality of the French Broad River watershed. Thank you.
Okay, so I've been cleared for takeoff, so this is good. My name's Dan Clare. I'm a member of the Wilma Dykeman Legacy Board, and I'm also the chairperson for the literary events related to the written and spoken word, which is kind of a culminating, reward for a career English teacher. And this, I have to say, is a brand new experience for me because I have a room full of people as a career English teacher that are actually looking at me and listening. And I don't see anybody on their phones, which is crazy. This is like the before times. But I'm usually thick with improvisation just by nature of my trade, but since this is such a big deal, I've got a little prepared piece. I'm going to rely on my notes here for the most part. But before I do get into this, because I want to tell you guys a little bit about what we do with our spoken and written word events with the Wilma Dykeman Legacy, although it may be lost on some of you guys because I recognize a lot of familiar faces from some of our programs that have been ongoing for several years. And I'm just so honored to be part of this event and part of those from an organizational and a facilitation standpoint. I came to the work of Wilma Dykeman through Thomas Wolfe, actually. My better half, my wife Anastasia, who's back there, who brought us to Asheville from the Washington, D.C. metro area many moons ago to visit the Thomas Wolfe Memorial. We moved to Asheville in 2015 and went to a Wilma Dykeman event, a Wilma Dykeman Legacy event at the Thomas Wolfe Memorial. I believe it was maybe the second year they were doing this short story series that I'll mention in just a moment. And we had a packed house at the memorial, and I told Jim Stokely, and I don't think I even knew who he was at the time, I said, man, this is like free grad school. This is awesome. So I felt like we had found our people, so to speak. We found each other, and it's totally a dream come true now that as a facilitator of that and other programs that we do, that I get to introduce and participate as a sometimes lecturer or just MC of those events. So I did want to just read a few words to you. I'll be fairly brief. I'm known for rambling. I won't run the light. That's what my students tell me. They're like, Dan, you're running the light. I'm like, sorry. All right. So today, as we celebrate Wilma Dykeman's 105th birthday, we honor not just the life of a remarkable writer, but a legacy that continues to shape the cultural, environmental, and literary identity of this region. In her groundbreaking book, The French Broad, published in 1955, Wilma wrote, "We need not destroy the land to make a living on it. We need not destroy each other to live together." This statement still speaks directly to us, rooted in environmental stewardship, social justice, and the transformative power of storytelling. Wilma was many things, a historian, a novelist, a journalist, an activist, but above all, she was a storyteller who believed in the power of words to heal, connect, and inspire change. Her fiction gave voice to resilient Appalachian women. Her nonfiction tackled race, labor, and land use with clarity and compassion. She didn't just reflect the South, she challenged it to grow. Today, the Wilma Dykeman Legacy carries her vision forward through a variety of literary and educational programs, many of which have been in motion for years. Our Poem of the Month discussion series, built in partnership with the National Paideia Center, highlights voices that resonate with Wilma's reverence for place and language. Our My Story series at the West Asheville Public Library invites emerging authors to share their unique personal narratives, reinforcing Wilma's belief that every story matters. And the Thomas Wolfe Short Story Book Club, which was my entree on the periphery, but now I get it. I get the connection in so many ways. Now in its 10th year, held at the Thomas Wolfe Memorial in downtown Asheville, connects readers to the rich literary heritage of this region. And looking forward, we've got new initiatives on the horizon. I think we're still in the process of formalizing a name, but I came up with something just as a working title for tonight. Our newest literary initiative, Appalachian Voices in a Post-Helene World, will explore how identity and storytelling evolve in a region marked by both tradition and transformation. Through our press, which is something I've got to mention, we've published works that reflect the complexity and depth that Wilma championed, from a Holocaust memoir by Walter Ziffer to the biography of an Appalachian family from the Tow River Valley in Joanne Kroom's book, No Work Left in the Grave. Am I butchering the title, Jim? Did I just... No Work in the Grave. Close. Sorry. And every summer, educators, Becky Anderson was recognized for this, and I participated in the first year, and I have to say it was an amazing experience. It brought me closer to our region. Every summer, educators from across the Southeast, and we're expanding every year, gather for our Teachers Institute in Hot Springs. There they engage with Wilma's works and influence, carrying her vision into classrooms and communities. And at 105, Wilma Dykeman's voice remains a guiding voice. Her writing reminds us that literature is more than just art, it's responsibility. It is remembering who we are and imagining who we might become. So thank you guys for being here, and happy birthday to Wilma.
Wilma was a master storyteller through the written word, but she loved the spoken word as well. And Connie Reagan-Blake just informed me that she used to attend this fabulous storytelling festival that's still going on over in Jonesboro, Tennessee at the beginning of October, to listen to storytellers. So, a story, spoken word. Well, I'm just assuming that everybody here has, or most of you maybe, have read The Good Book. And if you have read it, you know that in it, it says that God made everything. But it doesn't say anything in there about God having made frogs. And that's because he didn't make frogs. He made tadpoles, and then he turned them tadpoles into frogs. And this is how and why it happened. Now, if you've ever made tadpoles, you know it's just as easy to make a whole lot of them as it is to make just one. So that's what God did. He made a whole lot of tadpoles, and they were everywhere. They were getting to be a bit of a nuisance, dropping out of trees, all in the grasses and the bushes. You could not step out of your house without somebody yelling, "Whoa! Tadpoles!" And you'd have to go tipping around trying not to step on the little things. They were getting to be mighty annoying. So God called all the tadpoles to him. And they came running. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Tadpoles, he said. You know, there's a corn patch down by the creek yonder that's just choked up with weeds. And if we don't get those weeds out of there, we'll never have good sweet corn to enjoy this summer. So I want you to go down to that corn patch and weed it. Yes, Lord. We'll do that for you, Lord. So they all went down to that corn patch and they started pulling weeds. And every tadpole was working together and working so hard, but it was a really hot day. And as the day wore on, they got slower and slower about pulling those weeds. Well, old Nick just happened to be out for his constitutional, and he walked by, and he noticed those tadpoles. And he asked them, "Tadpoles, what are you doing?" And they all said, "Well, we're pulling weeds. We're pulling these weeds." Nick said, "The weeds are growing faster than you're pulling them. You know, you may not have noticed, but there's this nice little cool mountain stream just running by the edge of this corn patch. And if you were to dip into that water just a little bit, you'd come out all refreshed, and you'd be pulling weeds just as fast as you were, and you'd have this patch done in no time." "Well, I don't know," said the tadpoles. "Lord didn't say nothing about swimming. He sent us down here to pull these weeds." But old Nick just worked on them until finally one, and it only took one, decided to try it. And when that little tadpole edged over to the creek and then jumped in, it felt great. And he called out to the others, "Come on in, the water's fine." And they all slipped into the water. And not only was it cool and refreshing, it was moving. It had current that they could play with. They could swim up against the current and then turn around and get a big old ride downstream. And they could dive down deep and come up in an eddy and get a little breath, a little rest, and then go back out and fight the current again. And then they discovered the mud down at the bottom of the creek, and it was fabulous on their soft, smooth skin. They loved it. Time went by, and old Nick was out for another constitutional. Just happened to run into God. And he said, "God, how's your creating going?" And God said, "Oh, it's good, Nick. It's mighty good." And Nick said, "Well, I don't know. Some of these critters you're making are mighty trifling." "Trifling?" "Yes, trifling. Take them tadpoles, for instance. I know that you sent them down to that corn patch to weed it, and I just walked by that corn patch, and I didn't see nary a tadpole, and it's just as choked up with weeds as it ever was." Said the Lord, and he called those tadpoles to him. And they came running. "Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord." "Tadpoles," he asked, "what have you been doing?" "Oh, we've been swimming." "That's what we've been doing. We've been swimming." "Uh-huh. And what did I send you down there to do? Pull weeds? You sent us down there to pull weeds. So, why were you swimming? Well, they didn't have an answer. That's because there wasn't a good answer. So the Lord said to them, well, because you did not do what you were told to do, I'm going to cut off your tails. Oh, no! Please don't do that, Lord. Oh, that would hurt something awful. And then if we were accidentally fall into the water, we wouldn't have our tails so that we could swim. Oh, please don't cut off our tails. Well, the Lord heard their plea, and he decided to be merciful. But he still needed to cut off their tails because the Lord always does what he says he's going to do. But he knew that he could let them sprout legs, and then they'd have something that they could swim with. So that's just what he did. He cut off all their tails and let them sprout legs, and pretty soon every single last one of them tadpoles became frogs. And you know, if you was to get yourself a bunch of tadpoles today, if you kept them long enough, they'd lose their tails, and they'd sprout legs, and all them tadpoles would turn into frogs. And still, today, tadpoles are mighty poor hands at pulling weeds. How the tadpoles lost their tails. Thank you. Well, I'm going to hand this mic over to another board member who will tell you about some of the work of the Dykeman Legacy. Thank you.
Thank you for that interesting and entertaining story. Unfortunately, you get part B. I'm Jonathan McCoy. I'm a member of the Wilma Dykeman Legacy board, and I am the social justice chair. And also, I'm a history professor, so hopefully, as Dan's saying, well, everybody is looking at him, hopefully I won't put everybody to sleep. Usually, everybody's a little bright-eyed and bushy-tailed right now. I usually teach at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'm also amazed I can see everybody's face. But as coming to this platform to talk about Wilma Dykeman and the work that the legacy does, I really was thinking back on really what it meant to be part or become part of this group. And I really was thinking about, as you look or I've heard the different components of what the legacy does, it really deals with social justice. It's all intertwined, because it's all intertwined in recognizing how we're connected as being created not just to live, but to work together to make this a better place to live. And so it's a way that we work together as individuals, we work together in the environment, and we convey that message in the written word and also the spoken word. And so I thought about that as I said, okay, well, what all am I going to say about what we do here and how we celebrate this birthday? And so, like Dan, I said I better write it down so I'll make sure I get to the point. I think it's important to remember that Wilma believed that through sincere introspection, we're able to broaden our personal and societal perspectives, which really enables communal growth. Through the power of the written and spoken word, Wilma hoped folks would realize, be it environmental concerns or social ills, that we are all connected. And to further serious conversations to this end, Wilma interwove humor and curiosity throughout her writings. Just like it was mentioned before, in 1957, when she and her husband, James Stokely, published the book, Neither Black Nor White. The book was a chronicle of their travels and conversations with folks across the 13 southern states, following the Supreme Court's Brown versus Board decision in 1955. That decision that called for the end of segregation in schools and would start pushing the nation to confront segregation in all its forms, and not just in schools, but in all its places. And Wilma and James wanted to go about the South and talk to Southerners, be them both black and white, and talk to real people, real Southerners, about issues, about what they felt about race relations and integration and this growing move towards civil rights. But they wanted to talk to these people and get their story that was bigger and more complex than the stereotypical images and views that were portrayed about the South. And so it was interesting in this book, and as it came out and it was reviewed, there was a reviewer, a man named Roy C. DeMonte, who was a member of the Department of Public Speaking at Morristown College, reviewed Neither Black Nor White for the Journal of Negro Education. And he noted that both the writers of the book were Southerners and have a keen eye for the innumerable rationalizations with which white Southerners attempt to deceive both their critics and themselves. As I was thinking of saying these things tonight and reading what was written in the critique, I said that rationalization, that attempt to deceive others and themselves, I said, wow, is he talking about 1957 or 2025? I said, some things change, but some things stay the same. But DeMonte went on in his critique of the book saying that, yet with insights goes a peculiar blend of compassion and good humor, not to mention a highly entertaining gift of wit. It is this gift of laughter inladen the book's often appalling documentation of man's inhumanity to man that makes endurable reading matter of some of the grimmer passages. So as DeMonte had pointed out, Wilma's method of asking questions and listening to people enabled her to produce writing where, as he said, the range of opinions sampled is wide. The depth and penetration of observations recorded is a source of endless fascination. And that goes to what the Wilma Dykeman Legacy is really working on in pursuing work in social justice. Because social justice is rooted in the belief that each of us matters and should be treated in such a manner. Realizing and practicing this can only happen when folks push themselves to break the chains of mistrust and misunderstanding, which is often based on our race or our class, our gender, or religion, or any other numerous differences that we latch onto and ignore the similarities that we all hold. Realizing this can only happen when one seeks out the difficult truths of life. And that's what Wilma really worked on. Because this is why the Wilma Dykeman Legacy is trying to continue her work. The legacy stays committed to supporting and working with the city of Asheville in its efforts to make reparations a reality. It works to support Black Wall Street in its efforts to support and celebrate the community of Asheville. It works to support the Martin Luther King Jr. Association of Asheville and Buncombe County in its push for education and social justice, and its endeavors to celebrate the history of African Americans, not only in Asheville, but in this region and this community. It's why it sponsors writers in residence there at UNCA to bring in young writers, to give them a chance to research and work on books that touch the stories that our communities hold, and to be able to communicate and also help grow those stories and hopefully touch others to tell their stories, stories that we all have. So as I thought about all this and saw about this was a birthday party, I came to this realization, or as I always say, an epiphany. My wife's family has a tradition about birthdays. When it's somebody's birthday, they always ask that person to give some birthday wisdom. It's your birthday. What is your birthday wisdom that you want us all to know? So today, as we celebrate Wilma's 105th birthday, I think Wilma has left us some encouraging wisdom that can be found in her essay entitled Seeking Knowledge. And that can be found in the book Appalachian Inside Out, a sequel to Voices from the Hills. In Seeking Knowledge, she wrote this: when we know more about the corner of the world where we live, we know more about the green and fragile planet which is home to all humans. Our own little spark of curiosity is a part of the immense mystery which surrounds all life. To know, to seek to know. How dull and dead we are when we relinquish that right, that rapture in our lives. Whether it is mathematics or music, woods knowledge or earth wisdom, or efforts to understand ourselves and those around us. Whatever the area of our knowledge, how satisfying to realize that truly the purpose of research in every field is to set back the frontier of darkness. And that's what social justice work is all about, is bringing light in a dark world. And I think that is the birthday wisdom we can take from Wilma here on her 105th birthday. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Well, we started with singing, and we're going to end with a fabulous vocalist who may or may not have us sing with her. And I want to listen because I first heard her sing at an outdoor festival, and I wasn't paying any attention to what was happening way over there on the stage, and then I heard her voice. And by the time I made my way over to the stage, she had the audience singing with her, and I gladly joined in. But then I also got to hear her sing jazz standards in a little club here in Asheville. She has a wide range of talents and gifts to share with us tonight. And she did sing, it was last year, at the Wilma Dykeman celebration, which was a bit more modest than this affair this evening. And I am so glad that she is back. Please let us listen and enjoy the music and sounds of Kelly Jolly.
Thank you very much. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. Whoa, so is life. Why is life. Whoa, so is life. Why, so is life. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. Whoa, so is life. Why, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Why, so is life. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Whoa, so is life. Why, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Why, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? Do you know who I am? See we one another clearly. Do you know who I am? We come from the Spirit, truly of the Spirit. Only can the Spirit turn the world around. We come from the Spirit, truly of the Spirit. Only can the Spirit turn the world around. Whoa, so is life. Why, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Why, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do you know who I am? Whoa, so is life. Why, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Why, so is life. Thank you. That song is entitled Turn the World Around, written by Harry Belafonte. And I could see from your faces that a lot of you know that song. Well, I'm going to see if you all know this next song. And if you don't, it's okay, because it's a call and response. So all you have to do is repeat after me, okay? Out in the woods, there was a tree. It was the prettiest tree that you ever did see. And the tree in the hole, and the hole in the ground, and the green grass grows all around, all around. The green grass grows all around. And on that tree, there was a branch. It was the prettiest branch that you ever did see. Are you ready? And the branch on the tree, and the tree in the hole, and the hole in the ground, and the green grass grows all around, all around. The green grass grows all around. And on that branch, there was a nest. It was the prettiest nest that you ever did see. And the nest on the branch, and the branch on the tree, and the tree in the hole, and the hole in the ground, and the green grass grows all around, all around. the green grass grows all around. And in that nest, there was a bird. It was the prettiest bird that you ever did see. And the bird in the nest, and the nest on the branch, and the branch on the tree, and the tree in the hole, and the hole in the ground. And the green grass grows all around, all around. The green grass grows all around. And on that bird, there was a wing. It was the prettiest wing that you ever did see. And the wing on the bird, and the bird in the nest, and the nest on the branch, and the branch on the tree, and the tree in the hole, and the hole in the ground. And the green grass grows all around, all around. The green grass grows all around. And the green grass grows all around, all around. The green grass grows all around. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out a warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out a warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Hey, I guess y'all got some hands, right? Yeah. Well, I've got a hammer and I've got a bell, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's a hammer of justice, it's a bell of freedom, it's a song of love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. Thank you very much. My name is Kelly Jolly. I'm on my way. No turning back. I'm on my way. No turning back. I'm on my brother, don't you wanna go? I'm gonna ask my brother, don't you wanna go? Gonna ask my brother, don't you wanna go? I'm on my way, thank God I'm on my way. I'm gonna ask my sister, don't you wanna go? Gonna ask my sister, don't you wanna go? Gonna ask my sister, don't you wanna go? I'm on my way, thank God I'm on my way. I'm on my way, no turning back. I'm on my way, no turning back. I'm on my way, no turning back. I'm on my way, thank God I'm on my way. I'm on my way, thank God I'm on my way. I'm on my way, thank God I'm on my way. I'm on my way. God bless y'all. Thank you.
I hope you have learned something about Wilma and the legacy tonight and enjoyed the creativity inspired by what Wilma stood for in her art. But this region, it just cultivates and encourages creativity and arts. And I want to thank the artists who've been here tonight, Megan and Nicole, with exquisite dance inspired. You want to come up? We're going to be up here. You don't have to be dressed like in a fancy outfit. And Debbie, who may not be dressed like Wilma anymore, but she is. And Kelly. And I'm grateful to the board members. They may not have introduced themselves, which I asked them to do. Kate Bashford, Epson, and Dan Clare, and Jonathan McCoy, if you want to join us up here. And we've enjoyed the creativity of our caterer, Kente Kitchen. And the music and all of the technical expertise provided by Raf Adams. And that may it inspire your own dancing for the last few minutes we're gathered here. So please come out, and I want to thank you all. Thank you.
And Wilma has a new hat.
Yes, I'm going to get one of those hats too. All right. Thank you for coming out tonight, and please enjoy the rest of your evening and get home safely. Thank you.